Alright, I'm out on a Sunday evening ride. You know, we're on the... Hey, look at there, there's a shadow. A dewy shadow. And I wanted to kind of do a little chat about wheelies. You know, I've been sharing my progress, learning wheelies on the Grom and doing wheelies on this bike, on my DRZ. And I wanted to do a little chat about that, about wheelies and why I find them entertaining and amazing, and why I didn't do them or try to do them for a long time, and what ones I did were very poor. I initially got a YZ400F, shoot, I think it was 5, 6, or 7 years ago, with the intentions of turning it into supermoto, which I did. But before I did, I found out that dirt bikes could do wheelies, and I didn't really know the technique on it. And I really had an infatuation with wheelies ever since that I had a motorcycle, and I never really learned the true technique, and sometimes I would just, you know, romp on the gas a little bit here and there, and it would come up a little bit, and I'd get a certain amount of exhilaration. But dirt bikes do wheelies a lot easier, and I was doing great, and I didn't really know proper rear brake technique, and I found out the hard way how important it was to do proper rear brake technique. Well, to know rear brake technique, which I had none of. And I ended up looping out my YZ400. And you know, I really didn't hurt myself that bad, but I learned that I needed to know how to actually do wheelies before I do wheelies. And a couple years later, I ended up getting a YZ250 two-stroke. I had some weather down this way, there's trees down, and I still hadn't really learned it, and I learned a very painful lesson because I really hurt myself doing wheelies on it quite badly, as a matter of fact. I ended up hurting my tailbone. Let's see. Quite badly. A little wheelie. I didn't want to hold these people up behind me. They got a they got a riding mower back there. But as you can tell, I can use the rear brake when I don't really feel good about coming back that far, and I come back not necessarily under the full power, full throttle like I was with the YZ250, and I hurt myself and I really couldn't walk that great for a couple weeks. That was not good. And I didn't try to do any wheelies for quite some time after that, because yeah, that hurt me bad, and I had to have several visits to my chiropractor. And you know, my tailbone still aches sometimes after a long day of riding, and you know, it's just the price I paid, because I broke it and damaged it quite a bit. But anyway, then I got this bike, and then I ended up got the Grom, and I started kind of playing with some pretty poorly done wheelies. And you know, I got the Grom, and I was like, you know, I'm going to learn proper technique on it, and that's been my goal this entire year, and even before the year even started, when it was cold last year, and I still had the Grom. And I really learned foot brake, and that's, if a person's going to learn wheelies, they need to learn foot brake and pound it into their brain like it's muscle memory. And really know how to do it. I mean, really know how to do it. And have it like it's a second nature to use that rear brake, that foot brake, as most people refer to it as. And that's what I did not know when I had those, hurt myself and then injured myself. And it's because I didn't know it. I didn't take the time to learn it. And I paid a severe price for that. And, you know, I'm still learning it. I'm still learning the different techniques of wheelie. And, you know, my real goal isn't really to be a stunter or stunt rider or anything. But it is, however, to be a... let's see if I can do a wheelie for these kids. You want to see a wheelie? You know, the kids got to see a wheelie, you know. They had to have one, so I gave them one. So anyway, that's what it was all about. And on the Grom, you know, we'll talk a little bit about wheelie technique a little bit, but it's not totally about, you know, it's not really how I do this. This isn't a tutorial, but, you know, there's rear brake involved in loading the suspension because a Grom has no power. They have zero power. Taking a little dirt road action here. But, so I'll talk a little technique there. When I pull in the clutch on the Grom or any bike that really doesn't have any power, and I really should do it on this, I should be clutching this one up when I do it, then I stab the rear brake. I release the rear brake, and then I release the clutch. And whenever I do that technique, my foot has activated that rear brake, and it comes back to it very naturally, very quickly, because it needs to. You know, you've already established that connection, and even if it's not been a long time since you've done a wheelie that way, I've come back to it, and often or not, you know, it's a lot more aggressive than I need to because I'm still trying to get better at it. Hello. That's just kind of the fundamentals of it. This is a small town that I grew up going. Well, I didn't really grow up in this town, but I went to school here in this town. Yeah, everybody had some pretty severe wind damage from the storms this weekend. See all these limbs that are down. A lot of people getting some work done, picking up the mess from the aftermath. Yeah, there's some damaged. There's leaves everywhere. You know, summertime is wrapping up here. Yeah, some big limbs down over there. Wow. But anyway, I'm not really talking about actual technique because I'm not any person that really has any business giving a tutorial for wheelies. If anybody wants me to do that, I will give them my technique for it and follow it at your own risk. That's all I've got to say. This little small town cruise, and I think for the most part, I don't have much else to say. Wow, yeah, there's a lot of debris. There's probably some limbs down here from it. Here southeast of this town, there was substantial storms and rain and hail and even higher winds. But you can see that there's a lot of debris, and usually these roads are a lot cleaner. And it's just they took a whacking, and that's pretty obvious. Let's see here. Let's see what these kids are doing. Let's see if mom will approve of a wheelie. Hello. Do. Hi. They seem kind of grumpy, so they don't get a wheelie. But yeah, there's a lot of storm damage, it looks like here. Wow. Yeah, limbs down. Oh, their poor fence took a whacking. That stinks. Stinks for them. But that was a dead tree. Let's see what we can do over here. Oh, sorry about the tire. That pontoon boat isn't going anywhere. But yeah, why do I want to do this? Why did I want to improve and get better at them? It's because, you know, wheelies are something that I think, other than riding a motorcycle with a lot of skill, is just freaking cool. It's one of the coolest things that you can do on a motorcycle, in my opinion. I enjoy it, and, you know, aspiring to do them and do them well is something that, you know, it takes work. You don't just get on it and know how to do it and can do it. You know, there's all the street squids, and, you know, everybody's probably had a certain level of squidology in their life, and just, you know, having a fairly powerful bike and bringing it up at full power and it being like a 600 or 750 or even, my God, a 1000. And that's just crazy. That's reckless. But yeah, that's just one of those things. Hello. That, you know, a lot of people aspire to do, and you might be able to quote unquote do a wheelie. Hello. But really not know how to do it with good technique and end up getting yourself hurt. I hope not. I hope you choose to learn the proper technique and earn that skill, as I am continuing to endeavor to do. Good grief, there's a lot of people over here. Hello. In this small town, they're parking in the streets. A lot going on. Someone's having a party, I guess. Hello. I always try to be friendly on a motorcycle and wave at people. Try not to goose it too much and make a bunch of noise for people. People don't like that. People don't like that. They don't like a whole bunch of noise in their neighborhood. Try that in a small town, you know? Some people might like that noise. And they're my kind of people, but just because I like it, it's kind of like a stereo system, you know? There was a time in my life that I really liked having a loud, thumping, booming stereo, and that's cool, but just sitting in the neighborhood making that sound all the time, people probably don't like that. Well, not everybody's going to appreciate it, so You do it, you get out away from everybody and do it. I mean, that'd be a courteous thing to do. Ooh, that armadillo got absolutely mulched. Especially when there's like pets, people with pets, or you know, walking a dog or something. I'll pull in the clutch and coast past them, just because, I mean, they're not used to that. They're not used to that sound. They're not used to that object, and it's good to be courteous in that situation and not make that sound or disrupt their ordinary routine of things. Give them some space and stay away from them. See, this is kind of turning into a longer video, but you know, I'm out on this cruise and I'm having kind of I'm gonna have a late dinner tonight, so I'm gonna do a flip a Wheelie here. I'm gonna go back out this way of town. I should have turned this way in the first place. We're going into a little bit of a wind. It's been 100 degrees almost every day up until Friday, and this is Sunday. So that change of temperature has come with the storms that, like I was telling you about. And I was down at the racetrack. I was down at Hallett, Hallett motor racing circuit west of Tulsa, and it rained down there too. I only got a few, and I say a very few, good sessions in on my Gixxer 1000. But what are you gonna do? I stuck around, and I was using my Q5S model, or S, excuse me, tires. And they had just been tearing so badly, and it's been like a cold tear. And Dunlop recommends a certain pressure, and I'm not going to recommend that pressure, but I dropped it below that pressure by about 4 pounds, and the tearing started to clean up quite a bit. So I'm going to continue with that until that rear's used up, because I happened upon a Q3 Plus, and I'm going to be using that sparingly. All facts aside, I'd probably still be using my Q3 Plus that got a freaking machine screw in it. This spring, I mean, pretty fresh tire, really. See, I wonder if my friends are home. Give them a wheelie. Their garage was open, so we'll see. The wind's kind of coming out of the northwest over here. Sturgis is going on, and obviously that's way north of here and west. But they're getting a lot of rain. There's summer pattern changes before ours does. I like the free state of South Dakota. I wonder if there's anybody from South Dakota that watch my videos. Yeah, wind's coming out of just straight that direction. So So I haven't really fully gotten into the technique yet. I'm working on it, of steering in my wheelies. I compensate a little bit by turning my bars, but usually I've found that staying more planted in my seat rather than putting a bunch of weight compensating in my bars or in my pegs is a fair way to stay neutral and compensate. It almost lines itself out, but we haven't gotten there yet. I'm working on it. Yes, you know, compared to what it has been when I've been riding at about this time every evening, it's probably about 15 to 20 degrees cooler. I want to say it's maybe in the 70s instead of in the 90s. So yeah, it's closer to the 20 degrees cooler. And I mean, as far as enjoying it, I enjoy riding my motorcycles in most any temperature. It's just a lot easier to enjoy it when it's not 100 degrees. But I enjoy riding at 100 degrees a hell of a lot more than I do riding in 30 degrees, which I do. My feet usually get cold, because as you've probably figured out, I ride to the gym. That's where most of my riding happens, is my routine. This is not necessarily my routine, my normal routine of riding. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and, I mean, this is just gonna be a longer video. I'm gonna turn it off either when my battery runs out, which I don't think it will, or my space runs out, which I don't think it will. Hopefully just when I'm done riding, that's when we'll end this video. And I could have easily done this ride. This is what I would have done anyway, whether I was talking to my, you know, people that I wanted to share this with, or not. Oh, a couple jet skis. That's something I've really never gotten into, is jet skis. There's a pair of my glasses that are somewhere buried in the silt at the bottom of Lake Tinkiller in Oklahoma because of one of those jet skis. Yeah, the O-Stroker likes it a little cooler. Yeah, there's a fair amount of wind out here. Yeah, there's that irrigation pivot that cooled me off the other day. And see, it's already gone to its stop point, so it's not on. Those are not a complete circle. Those are what I refer to as a windshield wiper. It just goes back and forth. Some of these other ones that are a more complete, they do a complete circle. And we're going into the wind. Oh wow, that's just a nice cool breeze. Feels good. Things work out. The farmer's bike that I was working on, and if you're on my Instagram, you'd probably know what I'm talking about. But I've worked on that bike a couple of times now. He had a petcock failure on it, and his needle failed on his carburetor, and he filled up his crankcase full of fuel. Luckily, it didn't run very good with it like that. Yeah, they're over there by these silos. Maybe I can do a wheelie for them if they're there. I should have shifted gears. not trying to hold anybody up. Hello, motorcycle guy. Yeah, did the wave. I wave, you wave. Just like that. You wave, I wave. Just like that. Hoorah! Oh yeah, this is a pleasant evening for a motorcycle ride. Yeah, there was a vehicle coming up behind me. I didn't notice them. They must be going pretty fast. Not a cop. They better not be. Or I will be in deep doo-doo. Now it looks like an older vehicle. This bike, let's see, where's our mileage at? 12,837 miles on it. And we're going to do a video when it reaches 13, because that'll be at the 7,000 mile mark for the engine. I'm excited about that video. I think we're going to do things a little bit different. I'm actually planning that video instead of winging it like this one. This journey's not been without its hiccups. I've had that base gasket failure on here. And that was a bummer. Someone's pack of smokes in the road. It was empty though. Full or empty, I don't really care. Oh yeah, this is just a nice evening. Such a nice evening. And we've rode about 20 miles or so. Almost 20 miles on the button. I smell some aroma, somebody cooking something. Is that somebody behind me? I don't think so. Let's end this video with a wheelie. Looking right down the fork tubes. I could have rode that wheelie a lot farther, but we're gonna end this one right now. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.